I'm not gonna lie, I'm really outing myself as someone who maybe pays a little bit too close attention to this show. What's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel and to another video. Today I'm going to be doing something that I've actually been wanting to do for quite a while, and that is a video that really focuses on some of the very small details of Demon Slayer and how I think that this show is actually a lot more nuanced than people realize. I've dabbled in this. I actually did a theory video over a year ago that actually did fairly well compared to my other videos we're doing at that time. And that's actually gonna kind of loop into this video, so stay tuned. But as a super Demon Slayer fan, I really like talking about certain plot points and things that you really can only catch on to when you've watched it multiple times. And so today I'm gonna be discussing the fact that we can narrow down the dates that the Kamado family was killed by Muzan to pretty much 2 days in the year. And before you say, whoa, how, like that is extra fangirl level, it's actually not that hard. So we're gonna dive right in, but before we do, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. If you like this style of video, please let me know in the comments. I wanna make more of these that are just a little bit more talking about nuances and fun facts within the story. So if you are interested in more of this, make sure you let me know. Also, we are super close, super close to hitting 100,000 subscribers. If you are not subscribed and you want to be a part of the fun, I have so many cool things coming in 2026, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. Okay, and the reason I'm actually bringing up narrowing down these dates of when the Kamado family was killed by Muzan is because I think that it's a part of a greater nuance and greater like theme throughout the show of the importance of New Year's, which is why I'm making this video now. Now, obviously we already know that the Hinokami Kagura dance always takes place from sundown until sun up on New Year's Eve to New Year's Day. That is canon, they mention it multiple times. And I think that along with some other theories and just minor details that I've paid attention to, tells me that New Year's Eve and New Year's Day is actually a very important storyline throughout the entire show. And it goes all the way to when Tanjiro's family was killed by Muzan. So the way we can narrow this down, number one is by Nezuko's birthday. So Nezuko's birthday is December 28th. Canonically, when this show starts, their ages are supposed to be 12 and 13. Tanjiro's birthday is July 14th, so that means they're about a year and a half apart, which is very common when you have a very large family for kids to be only about 18 months apart. But what's important is Nezuko's birthday, December 28th. So obviously we already know that it takes place during the winter time because it is very snowy. That's a very obvious thing. So you can narrow it down to the extreme winter months of like December and January. However, there's a couple other points that really narrow it down. Number one is, like I said, her birthday is December 28th, which means that she would be 11 if it happened any other time in December or January, because she cannot have her 13th birthday before Tanjiro turns 14. So this would have to be her 12th birthday that is happening in this timeline. And because it's stated that she is 12 years old at the time of their family dying, we know that this is taking place after her birthday. Now you might be asking, well, Hannah, that could still mean that it happens in January. It just happened after her 12th birthday and before he turned 14. And I say, yes, but there is one very specific line that Tanjiro says in the first episode. And that is that he wants to go down to the village to sell charcoal so that everyone can eat their fill on New Year's.
正月になったらみんなに腹いっぱい食べさせてやりたいし少しでも炭を売ってくるよ
This leads me to believe that this doesn't happen actually on New Year's Eve, especially because I do think that at this point in time, he knew the Hinokami Kagura and he needed to perform it. I don't think that he was supposed to not perform it after his dad died. His dad was very obviously teaching him about it, and it was a tradition within the Kamado line for 300 years. So just because Tanjiro was, going to die at a fairly young age, they were definitely getting Tanjiro ready to do it. So if this happened on New Year's Eve, that wouldn't make sense because he would have wanted to get home to perform the Hinokami Kagura, since that's like a family tradition and it's also considered like a spiritual religious thing because they're offering their dance to the fire god for, for protection and peace for the year. So that narrows it down. It happened on either the 29th or the 30th. Now, I might be just looking into it a little bit too much. There is obviously the possibility that Gotoge Sensei didn't mean for this to happen. It's very possible because the birthdays and the ages are only things that are kind of confirmed in other material and that sort of thing, that they were just like, oh yeah, that was their age, that was their birthday, it is what it is. But there is the possibility that there's a little bit more to it. Because as we've already established, the Hinokami Kagura is on New Year's Eve. It's always performed on New Year's Eve. So we already know that New Year's Eve is kind of an important date within the Demon Slayer world, considering how important the Hinokami Kagura actually is. I won't go into huge detail because I don't want to make this a super spoilery video, but we'll just say the Hinokami Kagura is very obviously important. Our main character is doing it. There's a lot of lore behind it that's been dropped. We don't fully know what it is right now at this point in the story of the Infinity Castle, but we'll find out soon. Now, I want to bring up the theory that I had, that I made a video on a little over a year ago that I stand by. And I'll put it right here. If you want to go back and watch that video, please do. I'll give you the TDLR though. Essentially what that video was talking about is my theory that the entire final battle actually takes place on New Year's Eve to New Year's Day. And it mostly comes from the fact that the song that the Ubuyashiki daughters are singing when Muzan is talking to their father is an actual real-life Japanese song that was sung around that time frame of the Taisho era by elementary school students on New Year's Eve. It's a counting song. Now, I did fact check this with multiple Japanese people. They did confirm it was a real song. It was not a song that Gotoge wrote for Demon Slayer. It was an actual real-life song from that era that people sang specifically on New Year's Eve. And I just don't think that that's a coincidence. If they specifically put that song in the show, I think that they very specifically put that song there to show us without telling us, because a lot of shows are going to show us instead of tell us, that this final battle is happening on New Year's Eve to New Year's Day. And I think that theory from over a year ago is only positively impacted by my realization that the Kamado family had to have died during that time in between Nezuko's birthday and New Year's Eve based off of when her birthday is and what Tanjiro was saying. And it would make sense, with the Hinokami Kagura being a thing that is a tradition that takes place on New Year's Eve, kind of continuing that trend throughout the show of New Year's Eve and just the New Year's time being a very important time for so many of these characters. I like the idea of that. But like I said, this isn't confirmed. I think that you can argue that, yeah, this could be a show don't tell, but it also could be me reaching. It's my theory, it's my opinion, but I do believe it's very obvious that the time that the Kamado family was killed by Muzan was very much easily narrowed down based off of just their ages, and obviously Nezuko couldn't turn 13 because Tanjiro was 13, so that birthday would have had to have been 12, otherwise she would have been born 7 months after him, which is impossible. Well, yeah, that's impossible. So what do you think? Is this a fun video? Is this a random video? I kind of threw it together last minute, so let me know in the comments what you think, but that is going to be it for today's video. If you liked it, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment your thoughts, and I will see you all in the next one. Mata ne!